Good afternoon, everyone. I am Isha and with me is Aeron. We will talk about the slow growth of teenagers today and how it affects their behaviors. During our research, which is based... Next slide, please. Thank you. Isa pa po. During our research, which is based from the book iGen, Why Superconnected Teens Are Getting Less Rebellious, More Tolerant, and Completely Unprepared for Adulthood by Jean Twenge, we came across something very important. According to the book, there are many issues that make today's teens unprepared for their adult stage in life. One example is iGen's lack of knowledge in having jobs. Contrary to this, I myself have my own job and I have learned a lot about it, such as being responsible of my own money. I am sure that will help me as I grow up and become an adult. However, I'm only one of the few iGeners who are exposed to having jobs, and the majority still never experienced a job.
The research we are presenting is very relevant to the parents and their children. It includes how today's teenagers are growing at a slower pace than their predecessors, how this occurs, and how this affects their mental health and their future. Next slide. Personally, in recent times, I have been a bit worried of the upcoming years in my life because I don't feel prepared enough. This may be one of the effects of what me and Isha are going to discuss. This research was first conducted to gain a further understanding of the psychology and growth of iGeners, as understanding iGen is synonymous to understanding our future. They would be the ones initiating enormous change in society and the world as a whole, driven by their technological nativity and individualistic ideals.
So here are the points of our discussion about us, why should listen to us, the factors that lead to teens growing up slower, what slower development means for the future, how this affects the world as a whole, and how you could help. Next slide. Based on the data gathered from teenagers, most teenagers go out with their parents accompanying them. One example is Priya, a 14-year-old girl, upcoming freshman in her high school in a few months. Sometimes she goes out with her friends to watch movie or eat dinner, but parents come along with these activities.
This trend began with the millennials and started becoming more prevalent in today's generation, as we can see from the data. Next slide. Next.
Next slide.
As we can see from the data, the number of students going out without their parents, specifically from the 8th, 10th, and 12th grades, has been going down since 1976.
They are less likely to go out in general, more so without their parents. Compare this to the baby boomers who had their parents allow them when they want to go out by themselves.
This might seem like a good thing at first, more family bonding, but if they depend on their parents too much, this might hurt their chances to become a self-reliant person in the future.
Life? Next slide.
There are two kinds of strategies parents should practice when developing or raising a child, according to the life history theory. These are the slow and fast life strategies.
Life history theory argues that how fast teens grow up depends on where and when they were raised. If we observe today's generation's typical family, which according to our research, most likely have few children, tend to practice slow life strategy. Practicing a slow life strategy on fewer children works because parents have more time and can focus more on the few or just one child.
One example to back this statement up is that teenagers today are less likely to obtain their driver's license at age 18 or younger. This decline is happening across all regions, ethnicities, and socioeconomic classes.
In practicing a slow life strategy, parents focus on their children more, so overprotection is more common. Compare that to the fast life strategy, where subsistence is over quality. According to our research, baby boomers, the generation of our grandparents, practice fast life strategy. This is because they have more children than parents today. Most teens were not excited when they got their driver's license. Gen Xers used to be very proud of themselves, and they treated it like a badge of honor.
Even though pretty much all 10th graders are allowed to start driving in the US, in 2015, looking at the data, we can see that almost none of them started driving. The number of teenagers not wanting to take up a job while in school has doubled over the years.
The original hypothesis is that many think that iGeners is giving more time on homework or academic demand or engaged on extracurricular activities.
After looking at the trends in the behavior of teenagers towards the things we mentioned, we can conclude that they are devoting less of their time on homework, paid work, volunteering, and extracurricular activities combined. Working and applying for jobs are things teenagers are currently putting off in their lives for them to pick back up later. Next. Teenagers are trying to slowly ease themselves into alcohol. They do not want to rush into drinking intoxicating beverages.
The previous reporters have tackled certain behaviors, iGen members, and we focus on their fears in experiencing big steps in life, such as academic demands, driving, working in part-time jobs, and adulting in general.
As we mentioned earlier, previous generations such as the baby boomers and Gen Xers were not like this at all. Their abundance and experience made them prepared for adulthood, and their parents were not overprotective to stop them from venturing their environment to learn on their own.
Most iGen members, however, have overprotective parents. If we remember the life history theory, parents today practice slow life strategy on their children with less siblings, so parents have more time to focus on fewer children.
We should let teens experience big milestones every once in a while, especially working, because they will need this in their adult life, and they will have the knowledge of what it's like to have a job. Here in JDSC, teachers encourage us to participate in extracurricular activities. I myself have been a part of the JDSC band, Suprema, for almost 3 years, and I have learned so much from performing on stage. Even if I am in the band, I still focus on my academics here in JDSC, which will provide the framework for the things I will learn in the near future.
In my case, I am one of the vocalists of our band. I am a member of the floorball team and hip-hop dance group. I also have been working in a dance group. I was former member of G-Force Twins and now a member of D-Grind. I already performed in ASAP, Your Face Sounds Familiar, and other shows in ABS-CBN. I'm also a DJ. I'm a resident DJ in a resort, and I also performed as a guest DJ in a radio station and bars. Because of this, I've been more independent and good at managing my time. I have learned a lot because of my career in my life as a student in JDSC.
How can you help? Well, we could always apply this information to teens by letting them experience big milestones as soon as possible, such as finding things out on their own or trying to participate in things that will challenge them. JDSC helps us in becoming more independent as we try to stimulate our cognitive abilities and give opportunities that push us out of our comfort zone to grow and help us gain experience for the future. One example of this is when JDSC has some students to go to Singapore to present their research in front of an international audience.
This is what teenagers and parents should be doing in order for teenagers to develop their independence. For the iGeners, they should participate in extracurricular activities, venture out into the outside world, and do things that will challenge them. For the parents, they should have to stop spoon-feeding their children. Let them experience things on their own and make them use their phones in moderation. Teenagers won't learn anything if we let them hide in a room with their phones while they express their feelings of adulting. This is to ensure that they have the experience to face challenges and obstacles life throws at them in the adulthood.
I hope our talk gave you some insight on the growth of our generation and understand our situations more.
Thank you
all
all
for listening. Have a good day.
Have a good day.